Hello everyone, how's it going? My name is Dan the Tutor, on a mission to become the world's greatest tutor. In today's video, we're going to look at a very famous physics problem. It's the ballistic pendulum. So you can see the picture I have down here. Basically what we're doing is we're firing a little bullet into this block of wood that's connected to a pendulum. After they collide, the block then goes up a little bit. And the question is usually, find the height that the block goes up. Oh, and I forgot to mention the bullet gets stuck in the block once they collide, and they move together for the rest of the time in the problem. So this is a very famous physics problem. If you don't know how to do it, it's very difficult, basically impossible. But if you do know the secret, which I'm about to tell you, the problem becomes much more simple. The secret to this problem is that there's 3 points in time. Point 1 when the bullet is fired towards the block, point 2 when the bullet gets lodged inside of the block, and then point 3 when the block and bullet are moving together and they rise by height h. And then what I'm going to say is from point 1 to point 2 we are dealing with momentum because we're talking about a collision. And as we all know, momentum is conserved as long as I'm considering both masses here and there's no external forces going on, which there are not. So in other words, P total at point 1 has to equal P total at point 2. Now the next thing I'm going to say is going to confuse you, so I'm going to say it a couple times. Listen closely. Energy is lost from point 1 to point 2. And I know that because it's a perfectly inelastic collision, and that means, first of all, they stick together, and secondly, it means that energy has to be lost. However, after the collision is over, and the bullet and block together move from point 2 to point 3, we are going to use conservation of energy. So yes, from point 1 to point 2, we are losing some energy, but as soon as the collision is over and the block and bullet are now moving together towards point 3, energy is going to be conserved. And so what that means is energy total at point 2 is going to be equal to energy total at point 3. These two equations are the secret to understanding this problem. And if it doesn't make sense what I just said, then just rewatch that part a couple times. And if it still doesn't make sense, just memorize it, what I'm doing here, because it's the same thing every time with this problem. So technically it doesn't matter if I do 1 to 2 first or 2 to 3 first. I'm going to do 1 to 2 first with momentum. So remember, momentum is mass times velocity. This is going to be mass times velocity of the bullet initial plus mass times velocity of the block initial equals mass bullet plus mass block, because they're stuck together, it's a perfectly inelastic collision, times their shared final velocity, which I'll just call VF. So this is the equation I'm using. Mass of the bullet is lowercase m. These are all variables, by the way. Velocity of the bullet is v naught, plus mass of the block is capital M, and velocity of the block is 0. Remember, the block is stationary at first. It's not moving. So that's it for the left side. Now for the right side, it's going to be little m plus big M times v final, which I don't know. By the way, a lot of times in this problem, you'll see them ignore little m and they'll just write capital M times VF. And the reason why they do that is because the little mass of the bullet is so small compared to the big mass, they just ignore it. If your teacher or professor tells you to do that, that's fine. I am not going to do that today, but I could if I wanted to. It's not going to really change the answer that much. So you'll notice I know everything here except V final. So it'd be a very good idea to solve for V final by simply dividing both sides by the mass little m plus big M. So in other words, V final equals, that just goes away because it's 0. And so it's going to be little m V naught over little m plus big M. Or again, if you did that shortcut from earlier, you would get m V naught over capital M, where you're just ignoring the little mass after the collision. But again, I'm going to be dealing with the left version. This is not the final answer, but this is the speed that I'm going to be using for point 2 to point 3 for conservation of energy. Because V final is really the velocity right there, the velocity at point 2. And so now I want you to look at this picture again, and I want you to think about what kind of energy I have at points 2 and 3. Well, for point 2, I definitely have kinetic, because I'm moving with V final. And then at point 3, well, we know this is the highest height it reaches, and velocity is always 0 at the peak, meaning it is all potential energy due to gravity, which I call UG, but you can also call it PE for potential energy. So in other words, E total 2 is K, E total 3 is UG. So that's what I'm going to write down here when I go from point 2 to point 3 and doing conservation of energy. It's going to be K at point 2 equals UG at point 3. In other words, 1/2 mass, which is little m plus big M, it's both masses combined, times their velocity, VF squared from earlier. I'll plug that in the next step. And then that's equal to mgh. So little m plus big M, it's the same mass, times g, which is usually 9.8, but I'm just going to keep it as g since this is all variables for this problem, and then times the height, which ultimately is what I'm solving for. First, we'll notice that little m plus big M cancels on both sides, and then I'm going to plug in VF squared. I'm going to write mv0 over little m plus big M, that is quantity squared, equals g times h. And so then the last thing I'm going to do is divide both sides by g, which this can get messy very quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick g in the denominator next to that 2, like that, and then keep the mv0 over little m plus big M quantity squared off to the side like that. If you don't understand how I got that, then you can either rewatch that explanation or just trust me that this is how you do the division and this is good. But regardless, this is going to be my answer. And so for instance, if I gave values for the masses and the velocity, like for instance, let's just say little m is 450 grams, big M is 5 kilograms, and V0 is, let's say, 50 meters per second for the bullet, I can plug in all these numbers and I'm going to get some value for the height. I just need to remember to convert 450 grams into 0.45 kilograms because we need the units to be in kilograms. So that's one question they might ask for when they give you this question. Another question they might ask is the exact same setup, but this time they ask you to solve for the angle theta that the block goes up, given that, let's say, this length of the rope is 1 meter. So I don't want to do all that work again because all the work is the same to get me this height right here. Let's just say I did it and I got the height was 0.25 meters. I just made up these numbers. I didn't calculate anything. I'm just saying that if we did all the work we did earlier, we get height equals 0.25, for instance. But now we got to find that angle theta. So how are we going to do that? Well, really, it's a bunch of trig. Let me show you what I mean. So first, here's the 1 meter leg of that triangle. If I draw the other position here, I know that this is 1 meter as well, because the rope is still 1 meter long, regardless of where I draw it. But now this height right here is 0.25. And let me just draw a couple more lines showing how this right triangle is going to look, because there's a right triangle right there, and this is my angle theta that I want. And as far as strategy goes, I'm going to be focusing on this blue triangle that I'm drawing right now. And the reason why the blue one is the best one to draw is because I have the hypotenuse, that's 1. The height is not 1. Remember, height is this entire length. But since the red is 0.25, I know that my blue length is going to be 1 minus 0.25. In other words, 0.75. And so if I just redraw this blue triangle down here, I'm going to get this is angle theta. The hypotenuse is 1. The height is 0.75. And which trig function am I going to use? Sine, cosine, or tangent? Well, I have the hypotenuse, and 0.75 is the adjacent leg because it's touching theta. So it sounds like I'm going to be using cosine. Cosine is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. And so if I want to solve for theta, it's going to be inverse cosine of 0.75 over 1, which is just 0.75. Make sure your calculator's in degrees, and I'll get a final answer of theta equals 41.4 degrees. That's how high it goes up. So hopefully all that made sense. If you do have any questions, please write them in the comments. Thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, and bye-bye.